Hi, everyone. The stock market overall was pretty boring, if I should say so myself. On Friday, the New York Stock Exchange was down 0.04% with volume lower than the day before. The NASDAQ was up 0.50%, decently impressive. However, volume was well below average. The Russell 2000 had a very nice day, up 0.89%. Volume was also well below average. And then the S&P 500 was up 0.15%, volume below average, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.20%, volume below average. However, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is ticking higher, and so everything is looking good on that index. We went long UDOW on Thursday morning, and so far that hedge is working to the upside. So we continue to have a bifurcated market where the Dow Jones Industrial Average is leading the way up, and the Nasdaq and Russell lags. However, the strength today in the Russell 2000 could be short-term bullish for stocks. Unfortunately, underneath, I don't have a whole lot of nice stocks. I got to be honest. Here's some of my best-looking ones in my scans tonight. WLH. On an arithmetic chart, you can see that this has a while to go before it really has a nice right side. Another one is a recent gap up stock, MACK. It's on watch as it bases out. And then also Peggy is another one. It had a secondary offering and has reacted very well following it. If Peggy can base out sideways for a few days and then break out and keep that MaxStream BOP and that accumulation with no distribution, sure. Unfortunately, it's got a pretty high PE ratio for a utility stock, so I'm not too sure about that. Besides that, gaming stocks, ULTI, I noticed that, and EA continues to move higher, so that's another interesting area. But besides that, scans were light. The only interesting part was India. I had India ETFs breaking out everywhere, so that looks to be an emerging bull market over there. I'm not quite sure, but if you're trading 20-day or 50-day breakouts or 52-week highs, pocket pivot point signals, in a lot of these India ETFs have given you signals today. So that's it. Wasn't very exciting in the long scans or short scans, and some more blow-ups. HIMX continues to get rocked. This was once a very popular stock amongst momentum traders. As you can see, it's round trip, and then UBNT is another momentum favorite with very large earnings per share and sales growth, and that continues to get rocked. And then remember MCP, big bubble in that one, I guess, from 2010 to 2011. That continues just to get decimated. So it's still pretty ugly out there despite the gains today in the market. There were more declining issues in the New York Stock Exchange than advancing issues, and yet the S&P 500 and Dow Jones were up. Even though the New York Stock Exchange was slightly down, still there were quite a bit more decliners and advancers, and also more new lows and new highs on the NASDAQ, and same with the New York Stock Exchange. We do have a couple of sells. CORN, corn, is closing below the 20-day moving average on average volume, but the BOP has increasingly gotten worse. It's gotten more red, and the week close at the low a day just isn't good, so we'll cut further losses, but only a 20% sell. It's still above the 50-day moving average, so we can see what the rest of the position wants to do. And then BXC has followed through from its sell-off. I was surprised it didn't do that on the 28th of April, but following the signal yesterday, the sell signal, it kind of seemed like this would more than likely happen, and it has. That amount of volume is just really ugly off the recent high, so that's a 50% sell. Not 100% sell because we're still above the 50-day moving average, and that will continue to be where my final cut loss is, but we do need to take some profits and lock in more of those gains. I am going to have one ad, actually. I was very surprised by this, but I have an ad signal in EXL. This is a very nice ad signal. As you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pocket pivot buy point signals without a pocket pivot point sell signal. So that's always very bullish to me to see a ton of buy signals and no sell signals, and it's a sector that is doing well even in a rough market. There is only one cut loss level, closed below 1259, and this position will be eliminated. It's only going to be a 2.5% ad, not a 5% ad. I would like to see this stock of base sideways with the 50 and 200-day moving average more converged to add another full position, but for now, that's all that we have. The only thing that was happening intraday today for us, it did not work out. We watched IDN, which had some pretty exciting news about a new law enforcement application or app that they can use on their phones. This thing based at 66 for hours and hours and hours and hours, but was just too thin and sketchy for me. And as it broke out here at 68, I just watched it go all the way up to 77, closing at 75. So that did work out also, but this is not really a stock that I like to play, so we did not play it. However, we did watch it. And so we know that this continues to work. What a long basing period in this stock. This is some pretty significant gains in a very short amount of time. Thank you.